All right, let's go ahead and go over the notes from section 1.5 on measuring angles. So an angle is formed by two rays with a common endpoint. This common endpoint is called the vertex, and the rays are called the sides of the angle. All right, you can name an angle using three letters, and the order doesn't matter except that the middle letter must also always represent the vertex. Okay, so keep in mind that whatever one is in the middle, it will always represent the vertex. So like this angle to the left, you can name it as angle ABC or CBA. It doesn't matter as long as that B is in the middle. Okay? All right, we've got some different angles that I think some of you might remember from middle school. So we have acute angles, which are angles that measure less than 90 degrees. We have obtuse angles. They measure greater than 90 degrees. And then we have right angles. These measure exactly 90 degrees. And then this is called a straight angle, right? This line. And this angle is 180 degrees. Okay? So the way we're going to name these vertexes and our vertices and with these examples, it'll get a chance to practice some of the stuff we just talked about. All right, so this first one. The vertex of this angle is point K. We can name the sides of the angles as two rays, as KJ, so that ray, and then ray KL is the other ray. In terms of three different ways to name the angle, so we can do it with angle LKJ or angle JKL. Remember, the K has to be in the middle. It is the vertex. But you could also, because there is a letter there, we could just say angle K, right? That would also work. And in terms of classifying, it looks like it is greater than 90 degrees, so we're going to call this obtuse. Okay, let's do another example. This one, the vertex is angle point S. The two sides are rays ST and ray SR. And three ways to name the angle would be angle RST, angle TSR, or just angle S. And this actually, because of that symbol right there, means this is a right angle. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about some information about angles that you need to know. All right, so if we find out the measure of two angles are equal to each other, so like saying the measure of angle A and B are both 75 degrees, we can say these angles are congruent. So the way we write this is we say angle A, angle B, and hopefully you remember this congruent symbol from a previous lesson, but that is what we put for these two angles being congruent. We can also talk about angle bisectors in a similar way that we talked about segment bisectors. So if you have a ray that divides an angle into two congruent pieces, or I should say angles here, two congruent angles, then that is called an angle bisector. So in the diagram to the right, you have the angle, or I should say the ray BD is the angle bisector. So therefore angles ABD and angle DBC, or you can name those differently. They are going to be congruent. Okay? And then last but not least, for the angle addition postulate, similar to the segment addition postulate, that if D is in the interior of angle ABC, right, then what we can say is angle ABD plus angle DBC is equal to the larger angle ABC. All right, and again, you can name all three of those angles differently. Okay, so let's use some of that information to do just two examples, and then I'll let you guys do some practice. All right, so in this first one, we have measure of angle ABD. So ABD is 48 degrees. And then we have the measure of angle DBC is 78 degrees. And we're trying to find the measure of angle ABC. So that's actually exactly what we wrote just above this. So we have the measure of angle ABD is 48 degrees plus the measure of angle DBC is 78 degrees. So to find what the larger angle is, we're just going to add those two together to get 126 degrees. Okay, let's do a little bit a different problem here, but the same figure. So DBC is now 74, and the whole thing, right, the whole thing is going to be 119 degrees. So we're just trying to find ABC, this smaller one, excuse me, yes, ABD, the smaller one. So this, in this case, we're going to use subtraction. 119 minus 74 will give us the measure of angle ABD. All right, and 119 minus 74 degrees is going to be 45 degrees. All right, so that's how you use some of those, or that angle addition postulate. Okay, so good. Go ahead and try some of these on your own. Some of them will be a little bit more challenging because you have some expressions instead of just numbers for your angles. But again, you guys have solid foundation for algebra, so you should be just fine. Check the key if you need any help. Good luck.